everyone. Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C Today. Now we're jumping in fast to our second discussion of the day. So we're going to talk about something that is, I think it's more common that we see now, especially in our social circle. Now, so of course, do you think many people, especially teenagers, have high egos and show off characteristics today?
I have noticed that actually, Caroline. Yes, actually,
not only teenagers. So
not teenagers. I feel like
when
people our age, and I think the more that you know of this term, the more you see that it's actually a lot happening in our circles. I've noticed that people often excessively show off their achievements or positive traits, but almost to an extent that's a little too much.
Like, oh no, I'm like, don't tell me I'm like that. I'm okay. Thank you for my,
Yes.
Congratulations. Like, okay.
Exactly.
There's that kind of like responses that which you're trying to be genuine or not.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, gotcha. Now, this shows this behavior can indicate narcissistic personality disorder or NPD, which can harm victims and also themselves. It is important to be aware of this issue as it exists in our daily lives, and we need to know how to handle it and how to handle the problem. Now, joining us today is a clinical psychologist from the personal growth to discuss narcissistic personality disorder. We have Stefany Valentia right here. Steph, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Glad to have you every time you're here in the studio. So let's talk about this from a psychological view and also the term, what is narcissistic personality disorder?
Well, narcissistic personality disorder or NPD is one of 10 personality disorders listed in the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder. So it is a formal diagnosis instead of a personal choice. So that's something that we need to understand so that we can empathize with them.
Right.
So it's not something that they choose to be, but it's a formal mental health diagnosis, so they have problems with it.
Are they aware though?
Usually not.
Okay.
Usually not.
And it's marked by pervasive patterns of grandiosity. So they have this high sense of self-entitlement and a need for admiration and also lack of empathy for others. And the onset starts from adolescent and early adulthood, and it persists throughout their lifetime.
Can we stop them? I'm just saying, if we saw our children having this characteristic, is it something that we can encounter for it to delve into more, more real?
The earliest we can intervene is when they're still in their childhood. But once you're settled, like 18 above, it's more tough.
Adult.
Because this is personality. We're talking about the core of human being. It's their personality.
It's fully formed already.
And it affects all aspects of their life, from how they feel, how they think, how they behave, and in turn, it also affects deeply their day-to-day basis.
Okay.
And are there different types of NPD?
Or
different stages?
Not stages, but maybe types. You can call it types.
Okay.
Because with human being, we are very complex.
Yes.
Even someone with a certain mental health disorder can have different manifestation in their behavior. So in general, we can divide it into two types, which is the overt or the grandiosity and the covert. Covert is they're more introverted. They're very sensitive to criticism, but they also have the self-entitlement. That's the underlying.
So the traits will always be there, whether you're extrovert or you're introvert.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, you were saying before that actually the characteristic that you can sense it since they were child or going to like teenagehood. So with that said, is this because of their environment, their friends and their peers, or this is also inherited since birth?
It can be both, like environment and also genetic, something that is passed down. Because personality is developed from several personality traits. So there's traits, there's also disorder.
Okay.
Traits is something that we all have, but disorder, not everyone have it. Okay. Disorder is when it is disruptive and it's impacting your daily life, that we can call it disorder.
So if one, let's say I have NPD and I don't want this, for my next generation, is this something that I consciously can say, I need to stop this?
Of course,
okay.
Of course. But that's the hardest bit of personality disorder. Most of the time, those people with personality disorder, including NPD, they don't realize that they have it. They usually think that the problem is with other people instead of themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Then, but other people can consciously say something is very different with this person. This is like beyond normalcy,
Yeah,
right?
because there's a difference between NPD and ego issues.
Yeah, of course.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it differs in the intensity, severity, and the duration. I believe that in certain point of our life, we sometimes show narcissistic traits or narcissistic behavior.
Right.
It's even needed, like in this field of work, like being a host or public speaker, politician, businessman, you need to have that sense of being prideful of yourself, liking attention, being confident with yourself. And it's even advantageous, right? But then when it impacts you to the point that it's disrupting your relationship, your work, then it is disorder.
Right. So we need to put that aside. You know, there's this two kind of like cubicles that is very different. You were right, Stefany, because in our job field, you know, sometimes we have to post like our pictures, and you know, nowadays it's more like how many likes do you get until someone would call you in for, let's say, for and then like an off-air job, as opposed to like what is her value and what can she give to that event itself. And in regards to that, though, can you share with us the characteristic of an NPD, the signs that shows that he, I mean, we can see it, but now it's very common we see it in our
I think we can see it, but we just need you to confirm.
Right.
The three biggest characteristics are grandiosity. So they feel like they are more intelligent than other people,
Above.
smarter, and then more likable than other people. So they're always above others.
Others, okay.
Yeah, and they think that they deserve great things for them. And then the need for admiration. So they always think that people need to understand that they are big, they are great, and if people don't get them, it's because of their fault, not because of them, but it's because other people not as smart as them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you don't get me because you're not as smart as me.
Okay.
That's a very NPD statement. And then the last one is lack of empathy for others. They can become mean to others. They can manipulate and exploit others for the sake of themselves. Yeah.
Oh. No, I was gonna say, it brings me to our next question. How can we deal with people like that?
Yeah.
What's the best
in a positive way?
In a positive way, yes. How can we, to an extent, help people with NPD?
Bring them to see Stefany.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
Okay. But you need to educate yourself first on NPD. So again, you can understand them instead of just labeling and judging them.
Right.
This is a disorder, meaning that they don't want it, but they don't realize that they have it. So when we educate ourselves, we can also empathize with them, and then it helps us also to not take things personally when they do something or when they say something. It's not your fault. It's on them.
Yeah.
It's their own problem. And then we need to set clear boundaries with them.
True.
So if you don't like something, you have to say it like very obviously, because they might not.
There's no gray areas.
Yeah.
It's black and white.
That's not okay.
Yeah, if you don't like something, you have to say, I don't like this behavior.
Yes.
I don't want you to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be very assertive and clear with your boundaries and expectation.
Of course. Now, Stefany, what are the treatments, especially for those that has NPD? And let's say for one that's very consciously saying that, no, there's nothing wrong with me, there's something wrong with you, I would not want to go to a professional, everything is all right in my life. What would happen to them in the long run in their lives?
Well, it's one of the toughest case, personality disorder, and one of it is NPD. So yeah, the hardest part is to get them to want to go to the therapy. Yeah. So again, we cannot like force someone to go to therapy, but if they do realize that they have problem, we usually start with the symptoms, the presenting symptoms. I once had a client who came to me because they said that they have problems in their relationship. Their partner wanting to get out from the relationship, and they insist that there's something wrong with the partner. As the session goes by, I realized that, it's you.
It's you. You're the one that has a problem.
Yeah, but it's not that we can like straightforwardly say it's you, but I help them with the presenting problems first, like the communication skills, and then how can they respect other people's boundaries, how to develop empathy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more of the presenting problems instead of the personality disorder itself.
Yeah, this is like you have to cure something that is not. I mean, if like let's say you have a cough and you have a flu and cough, and then you can just drink a medicine.
Yeah.
This is a personal trait that you need to change, and it's going to take.
It's
a
different
long
for
time.
each person.
Yes,
Very complex.
and they need to accept it that
Yeah.
I need to change. If there's no acceptance from them, then it's going to be very hard for them. All right, Stefany, we wish
thank
that
you
we have
so
more time because we know this is what we
Yeah.
encounter day by day.
Yeah.
But hopefully we have more time to delve into more topics. in
Yes,
regards
next
to
time.
this.
Next time for sure. Thank you, Stefany.
All right, Stefany, thank you very much for being here. And of course, right now, folks, we're taking a short break. But after this, we have another talk show that will seal the deal for our Monday edition. We're here on the C Morning Show. Don't go anywhere.